bro. You already know how we rock, man. You already know what's going on.
Let's
You
get
know
it.
what we
Let's
got
get it.
coming. You know what we got coming. So
Oh
sounds
yeah. Oh
right.
yeah. People finna find out though. So you feel me?
For
So
sure.
let's get into it, Rock. We're gonna tell them about Rocky Fresh. I wanted to start this podcast because I want people to get a different introspective of their favorite artists. And you one of my favorite artists. You've been that since like Electric Highway, probably before that. So we're gonna life a little bit and
Man, let's get it,
how was it
man.
growing up? How, how was it growing up in that area? I know the environment is real rough, and you made it out. So you a legend to me at least. So
That's love, bro. I
tell me
mean,
about
man,
yeah.
just
My fault,
just to
brother.
answer your question, like just growing up in Chicago, I was real blessed, like to have good parents, So even when I was in areas that wasn't the best, they always like basically put me in position to kind of stay out of the way of a lot of drama. And
Facts.
also like for some reason, and shout out to my pops and all my other relatives, but like I always just was kind of like a leader. I skipped a grade
Yeah.
early when I was a shorty, so I was always like the youngest person in my class. But with that being said, that made me want to have like the most impact and the most influence. And at like a young age, I was always basically like when I got into like really like second grade, like I been getting in trouble from second grade all the way up until I graduated from high school. But it was all just like, me challenging the system. I wasn't really like getting into a lot of street stuff, more to say, because I
Right.
always just was, outside of that. I spent a lot of my time in church too, because my mom, she works for a church. My grandparents, before they passed, they worked for a church as well. So I spent a lot of time in church. And yeah, with that, I was just a normal kid, man. I play a ton of sports. Man, I always been in the sneakers since I was a kid. So with that,
Yeah.
when I went to high school, that was my first time being around really other races, in the sense of a school environment. And with that, that kind of is where my musicality started. Because even though I was in church listening to gospel and I was around like rap and all of that, like I got put on
Right.
the alternative rock and different things like that when I went to this high school in the suburbs. And that just kind of like, put me onto a whole nother creative wave. I started listening to a lot of Kanye, a lot of Cole, a lot of Jay-Z, Wayne, just, artists when they was in a, even though all of them guys still legends to this day, like I really became a fan of them when they was in their prime. And so like me just moving around all these different sides of Chicago, me going to school in the burbs, me having friends in the hood, me having an influence of rap, me having an influence of rock, it just kind of went into this whole, like, put me in this whole creative mindset. And I used to just play around, like freestyle, all of that. My homies told me I was solid. Ended up having a battle at my high school, and like all of the
Okay.
kids in my grade had came out to like see what was going on. It was like a battle in the parking lot. I went to a real big high school, so when I had this battle, it was like with the best rapper in the school. And with that being said, like, I really had all the game. He had everything to lose. I ended up beating him real bad in this battle, like
Let's
in front of
go.
my whole school. And then that's what started the energy for people more so wanting me to rap more than I even wanted to do it myself. You get what I'm saying? So
I feel
from
it.
there, the rest was history, and that's how we got to recording, was basically based off of them situations.
All right. So a lot of people don't know what was your first song that you ever recorded professionally.
I think the first song I recorded professionally, believe it or
Yeah.
not, I want to say was a Swagger Like Us freestyle. Like before
Okay.
then, I used to pull up videos on YouTube, or my homie used to pull up instrumentals on YouTube, like famous instrumentals, stuff like Dipset, Cameron Down and Out,
One of
different
my favorite
Kanye
instrumentals
beats
right
and
there.
stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they used to pull up
Yeah.
instrumentals and basically film me freestyling like in the house to these beats and upload them to Facebook on their own pages. And so that got
Okay.
into us, getting more fans like in my area. And then basically I had this kid by the name of Dwayne Reed who had access to a studio in the neighborhood. He was just like, man, bro, we should do a freestyle to Swagger Like Us, you know what I'm saying, together or whatever. You should come to the lab. Came through, and that was really my first time like getting in the booth.
Facts. Okay. All right. So we really getting into it. So if you don't mind me asking, do you have any first five musical influence present day and past? My fault. I can't talk today.
I know you are good, bro. I got a lot of musical inspirations. I'll be honest, like because I got into rap so late in the sense of
Right.
me actually recording it. And when I say that, I mean I really didn't start recording till I was about 17, 18, out of high school, basically, like just, really reaching into adulthood. So I was just a fan of the sport. So I really rock with any artist that has figured out a way to kind of crack the surface, with their own creativity, then I probably got at least one song that I've been inspired by from them. And I'm a huge fan of
That's
the new
respect.
school artists too, especially with me being from Chicago. We got artists like G Herbo, Polo G. Me and Dirk, we kind of came up around the same time, but he younger than me too. So it's like
Okay.
it's just a lot of I listen to a lot of stuff, and I think like that's one thing that I want people to take away from my own music is diversity and being able to keep up with the times, but also still stay true to the roots of hip hop, when I want to. So yeah, I rock with everybody, bro. I know that's a cliche answer, but
No,
that's
no,
where I'm
no,
at
it's
with it.
good. I seen you linked up earlier in your career with somebody from Fall Out Boy, which was pretty fucking dope to me. Excuse my language.
Nah, for sure. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Fall Out Boy was a huge influence to me on the rock side, along with Paramore, along with Good Charlotte, John Mayer, who is another person I've been able to build a cool relationship with. And so what
Yeah.
happened was I dropped my second project called The Other Side, and the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stump, he was working on his first solo album and put it out, and then he went on tour and he invited me to go on tour with him. So that was my first official tour was, with the lead singer of Fall Out Boy, Patrick Stump. I'm forever indebted to him,
That's fucking
forever
amazing
grateful.
to me, bro. That's dope. That's dope as fuck, bro. So on your leisure days, I know you got family that you love to spend time with. So, do you ever play video games? Or are you interested in gaming at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. Like, I keep it very minimal, like with the games, cause I'm very
Respect.
competitive, and so like me, like I gotta play stuff that's like really like into my day-to-day movement. With that being said, I play basketball like competitively like 3 times a week, and so
Okay.
obviously. With that being said, what my favorite video game is 2K. So,
2K. Let's
really
go.
that's yeah, so that's what I do. But I don't get online with it. Like I love to either play my homies, what I'm saying, that I'm cool with. We
Right.
exchange our cash apps, and we'll play $100 games or something like that.
I'm with it.
Or
I'm with it. Let me know
or I
next time
gotta
you
play
play.
you in person. You know what I'm saying? That's just how
I
I get
got
down.
you.
So
All right, that's dope. That's dope. So while we on basketball topic, do you have your top five favorite players, past and present?
yeah, let's get into it. Let's go. We can go Jordan. We can
Okay,
go. Uh, I'm gonna put Kevin Durant in there.
for
I
sure.
can't forget about my boy who really like, even though this is an unpopular opinion, my boy Derrick Rose, that's like top,
Oh yeah,
he top two
legend,
for
bro.
me. Just his whole story and just what he did prior to the injuries. Um, I gotta throw Steph in there, and then I
For
gotta
sure.
probably throw Iverson. I got love for
Respect.
LeBron, but I like the smaller guys because I'm a small dude, so I'm the type of
Ain't nothing
dudes I
wrong.
rock
Ain't
with.
nothing wrong with that. All
Yes,
right. So
sir.
while we on hooping, let's talk about your favorite sneaker.
Man, my favorite sneaker. Um, Cliche answer, but me being from
Good.
Chicago, I feel like it's only right. Like my favorite sneaker is the Jordan 1. I mean, that's
Okay.
the shoe that really started it all. Like that shoe represents so much in the sense that when he came out with that colorway, it was banned at first. Because of just all of the gang violence and stuff that was going on. They was hating on that really, like. And so with that being said, like just to know that shoe started such a wave of like sneaker creativity, that's always going
Right.
to be one of my favorite shoes, if not my favorite shoe of all time.
I respect that. I respect that. So while we outside of rap right now, let's talk about you got why you not rapping. What do you like to do?
Man, I love the hoop. Like I be seeing all of these little these new rap leagues that they got going on, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little jealous because I know if me and my guys get in there, it's gonna be ugly. Like these rappers is not hooping like that. So yeah, I hoop very seriously. Like I said, 3 days out the week. I'm really big into movies and TV shows. So with that being said, I'm always on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, like you name it, any app, I got it. I'm trying to watch all the movies, but I'm into like crime movies and stuff like that. I don't watch a lot of like cartoons and all of that. So
Me neither. I
yeah,
respect that.
really that. And man, I'm kind of like a foodie too. Like I love like eating good and trying out new restaurants and just really getting acclimated, like especially in Chicago with like all of the different food spots. But really what reigns supreme is like really hanging out with my daughter. Like she
That's
is the
dope.
coolest person I know. So, when I'm not playing with her, then that's what I'm on.
All right. So, do you mind me asking, what was the mindset of you before fatherhood and after fatherhood?
Man, whew, that's a great question. I
Thank you.
mean, with that being said, I think one before fatherhood, you kind of just living for yourself. You trying to think about what you could do to make sure that you get the things that you want personally in life, and like set yourself up on a personal level. I think fatherhood really, made me not only just live for my daughter more, but also for her mom, and just really make sure that you know. Just the foundation, like everything is just so much bigger than me now, and so
Yeah.
with that mindset I just had to up and like what I already had it at. And from that, like I've been able to get a lot of blessings just from the space that she put me in, like mentally, just maturity wise, like especially having a daughter. I feel like if I had a son, I'd be a little bit more in a different space, because I feel like as men, even with my father always being there for me, it's a thing
Right.
where it's like it's certain things that as a man you got to really learn on your own. Whereas with
Facts.
your daughter, it's certain things that you don't never want her to have to experience. You don't never want her to need a man for nothing. So it's like it's
Facts.
just put me in a whole different mindset of being a provider.
All right, man, you made me proud. You just the way you talk about your shit, bro. We're hella proud to know you. All right,
Salute,
so
bro. Salute.
we was on TV shows, and I seen when I was doing some research on you that one of the shows that you had first played, or one of the first shows that played your music was a show called Nikita back in the day.
Yeah.
How was that feeling?
Man, you know what? That feeling was crazy, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like, and it's crazy too, because I'm cool with a lot of like younger artists now, and they get these great opportunities, but because they so focused on like the art and just getting to the highest level, they don't even really like get to appreciate it. And I can relate to that, because that's how being on Nikita was to me. Like, that was my first time getting a real check, for my
Yeah.
music. So I was appreciative of that. But because I didn't watch the show or anything like that, or I didn't know nobody else that watched the show, it was just like, quick little moment in time. My homies tuned in to it. We kept it moving after that, never really talked about it. So it's crazy that you brought that up, because looking back on it, it was like that was like the first thing that like ever really, really paid me like for music. And that was in the early stage. That was like after the first, mixtape that I dropped. So I guess that's like a milestone that, I gotta really appreciate. So shout out to Nikita.
No doubt, no doubt. So while we on first mixtapes, let's talk about Rockie's Modern Life and Driving 88 real quick, if you don't
Yes,
mind.
sir. Yes, sir.
Where was you at, or where were you when you dropped those two?
So with
And
Rockies,
what changed after that?
Rocky's Modern Life, that was like my very first effort. I was just young. I didn't really know like what was about to happen. I didn't really even know it was possible to really, really make it off rap. So I was just like really recording and just, having fun, like fresh out of high school. I'm in my first semester at junior college. I'm skipping class, going to the studio, not taking
Let's
school
go.
serious. So it was just like, it was made out of that, like, young rebel mindset, just like really doing what I wanted to do, and like speaking for the kids that I knew in my area. Like, I had like a chip on my shoulder, because all the kids that I was cool with, they ended up going to these big schools. I'm talking about Howard, Stanford, fucking Yale. Like, I knew kids that went to damn near every big college that you could think of. And so for me to be going to school like literally 3 minutes away from my house, that made me like get in a different mindset with the rap, because I'm like, man, I can't be like the bottom of the totem pole out of my circle. You get what I'm saying? So I
Right.
think that was in my head. And then once and the other side too, I gotta speak on this just because whoever hear this, like, you need a good team. And with that being said, my manager, he went to high school with me, but he graduated a year before me. His name is Andrew Gertler. With that being
Shout out to
said,
Andrew.
one of my other managers at the time, he was like my role manager. Forever grateful for him too. His name is the homie Drew. And he introduced me and Gertler together because we all went to the same high school. And Gertler was the first person to really put organization into the music. So after I had all these little freestyles popping up on Facebook and all of that, he was the first one that was really like, yo, bro, you should put together a project. I'll pay for the studio time, get you in the lab. Let's like really like work. and like, you know, create a project, and then I'm gonna set up, you know, everything else. All you do is focus on the music. So with Rockie's Modern Life, what really took off everything for me was the probably 2 weeks before, I wouldn't even say 2 weeks, maybe a month before we was about to drop Rockie's Modern Life, my manager was like, look, bro, we need to do a show. And it's like, you know, I'll pay for the venue, but like we got to use all of these relationships we got. You cool with the fashion people, you cool with the hood people, you cool with, you know what I'm saying, the people from our suburb and all of that. So it's like, bro, I feel like the way people reacted to your music, we could do a show. And so what happened was he ended up booking this venue called Reggie's Rock Club. And rest
Okay.
in peace to Mac Miller, but he was like the first rapper because he was moving at that time to perform there. And it was a 500 capacity venue. So we ended up doing the show there, and the show was completely sold out. Line wrapped around the building off my first mixtape, the tape that came out 5 days before then. So we had dropped the tape on a Tuesday, and the show was on a Monday. We had dropped the show on a Monday, on a Friday. So with that being said, the show was completely sold out, and like no violence, no fights, none of that. And when we had saw that, and the paper had started covering it, and just everybody in the city started like respecting my wave, then you know the rest was history. So I dropped another project after that called The Other Side. That started to give me national attention. And then Driving 88 was like the man, I just know what's going on right now. Like it's either do or die. It's like either the world about to start catching on to my music, or you know, I'm done with this shit. So I put everything, oh my bad.
You good.
So I put everything I had in the Driving 88, and you know, that shit just it took me to a new place. I ended up linking with Ross, and yeah, shit got real.
So we here. So how was the feeling of your first major deal?
Man, that shit was crazy. You know, like especially because Meek Mill was on fire, Wale was, you know, reaching his highest level at the time, and then Ross, you know, was literally looked at as the hottest rapper in the game that year.
Right.
So to join that family is just the respect that I got for my music, the respect that I got in the city, you know, across the country. That feeling was unmatched, you know. So that was a great time in my life for sure.
And that shit was iconic for me. I remember following the story as like a young dude. I was just that's you one of the first artists who inspired me to like really be serious with the shit. So I appreciate that little moment in time for sure.
Man, I
So
appreciate you
no doubt.
supporting the music to get me there.
So how did you link up with Cassie Veggies?
Oh man, so I linked up with Cassie Veggies off of my Other Side project, but before that, it's a producer and a rapper by the name of Brandon Deshay. And
Okay.
Brandon Deshay was in I Future with Casey. And
Right.
so Brandon Deshay basically made a project. He was from Chicago, but he moved to LA. So he had got cool with Casey because they was in the same rap group. And on his project, he had put me and Casey on the same record. And so from that, me and Casey started following each other on Twitter. We started chopping it up. I'm like, bro, if I ever come to LA, you know, we need to link up. So when I got there, I was recording at Harvey Mason studio, which is like, especially at that time, it was one of the best studios in LA, like Studio Crazy. And so the first day I got there, that's where I went. And Casey came and pulled up on me, and we ended up making that song Ducking and Dodging. And
Yes,
then the
sir.
rest was history from there. Like when me and him vibe, and I was spending all my time out there, bro was pulling up on me every day. We just built the brotherhood. So that was like a 2010.
Dope. All right. So the last question is, what's next for my guy Rockie Fresh?
Man, like it's a lot going on. Like we got a lot of stuff that like, you know, is pending right now that I can't really like speak on. But as
Understood.
far as as far as on the music side, like we dropping a lot of projects in 2021. We got like a lot of big records coming, a lot of dope features. Like I done linked up with artists that y'all have seen me work with before and some that y'all haven't. And yeah, bro, it's about to get real. Like we got a lot of content coming, a lot of music videos, just a lot of shit.
Damn, bro. Well, damn. Like, yo, I appreciate for you hitting me up and let me get the interview from you. I can't wait to release this for the people to let them know more about you. And I just we got some shit coming. Yeah, we just got a lot of shit coming. I just appreciate this moment, bro. So thank you.